The Oklahoma Sooners have lost their best defender and their team leader before the season's even started.
Yeah, and is this shades of 2009? We're going to talk about that here from the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City. I'm Jenni Carlson. He's Mike Sherman. Mike, the news is Travis Lewis is out for 8 weeks. So say the Sooners. He injured a foot during practice on Monday, broken toe. This is a big loss for Oklahoma.
Well, it's a huge loss, Jenny, and if you think about it, you said this, shades of 2009. Before the season even started, Jermaine Gresham ruined his knee, couldn't play. Sam Bradford goes down in the first game in the first half, and a dream book season that looked like it was going to be another national championship run was gone before it started. Not saying that's the case here. 8 weeks, a broken bone or a toe injury. We'll find out more about that, but we do know this. The Sooners are all of a sudden scrapping a plan to try to get Corey Nelson on the field. Then they don't have to try. They got a place for him right in the middle of their defense.
Definitely. And linebacker already a position that Oklahoma was thin at. Obviously, the death of Austin Box created some movement at linebacker. They had Tom Ward at that middle linebacker position and Travis Lewis at the weak side linebacker position. Now we see Corey Nelson's going to move into that spot, creating a lot of moving pieces in that secondary. Who backs up Corey Nelson? I don't know at this point. I think the Sooners are going to have to figure that out. But an already thin linebacker core made even thinner by Travis Lewis's injury. Word from Scott Anderson, head trainer at Oklahoma, is that this will not require surgery. It's going to be a rest and a mobilization issue. They're going to basically keep Travis off that foot for as long as they can. But Mike, if my count is right, 8 weeks would put him back right before Texas, essentially. It'd be a huge boost to the Sooners, but obviously they will not have him for that big game at Florida State.
That's right, and the other thing they won't have him for, and this is really interesting, is sort of the spiritual side of this team. This is a guy who does a lot of the talking, apparently a lot of the motivation. You've heard Bob Stoops talk about how much he's pleased with this team's chemistry. Really what happens is when you're an injured player, you disappear from that. You're not the man with your hand in the air that they huddle around. You're over there on crutches. We've heard lots of players, Hubert Aniam, lots of college football players talk about what happens when they get injured and they disappear from the heart of the team. Well, you're taking the heart out of the heart with Travis Lewis. A very interesting thing to see. Corey Nelson, a great, great talent. We're getting ready to find out how great right away, but the heart and soul of this team is going to be sidelined. Interesting to see how that happens.
Definitely so. I mean, this has definitely got to concern not only the Sooners but their fans. Obviously, we mentioned 2009, and you lose a guy like Jermaine Gresham, and obviously that's a big blow. But as Mike said, Travis Lewis, losing him, and you're not only losing, arguably the best player. He's the preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, but you're losing that vocal leader. I mean, losing a Jermaine Gresham, that's not great in 2009, but to me this loss is even bigger. And obviously that Gresham injury was the first of many dominoes to fall for the Sooners in that 2009 season. Who knows, maybe this is the only blip in the entire season that the Sooners will have. Maybe everything else goes swimmingly, but Bob Stoops has even referenced in the past few weeks as he's talked about how good he feels about this team. You have to have a little luck. You have to stay healthy. Well, Sooners haven't yet started even having games, and already they've lost one of their best. This is not a good sign. I'm sure they hope it's the last of their bad luck. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.